Welcome, Ben Mangum, to Coaching in Session. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How's it going, man?
Doing well. Thanks so much for coming on. Today, I'm going to have you on as a fitness coach and personal development coach, helping people get into a better mindset, understand how important training is, and their nutrition is. In those three areas, I always find that people have difficulty in one, if not two of those areas. Sometimes people can struggle with training and mindset. Sometimes they can struggle with nutrition and mindset, but it's always a combo attack because you can be good in fitness and working out, and you can be slacking in your nutrition because you just don't know. And it's something that is not people's fault because we were just never learned this or taught this. We have to learn it as adults. And that is what you do. You help people get the knowledge and get the understandings that they need so they can live a happy and healthy life. But without me talking about your whole biography, let's tell the world who you are, what you do, and how you help them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you've got it right. It's usually you have the lack of a understanding of the mindset that you need in order to get the goal that you want, or you're consistently going to the gym, but you're not seeing results like on the scale or in the mirror when you look at yourself. No, I'm 26 years old. I'm based out of Central Florida. I'm a fitness and personal development coach, like you said. And I fell into this journey because I got into a low point in my life to where I was starting to make advancements in my career and with doing video production and marketing and things like that. But I still wasn't really happy with myself. And I would say a lot of that was due to just not living in alignment with our purpose. And our purpose on this earth is to create the man that you admire and give him to the world. I feel like I knew that I had potential. I knew that I wanted to live a fulfilling life and achieve great things, but my actions and my mindset weren't in alignment with that. A lot of that was due to just drinking too much, partying too much, not taking the actions needed to achieve our goals. And I've always been into personal development content, like getting a better mindset, spirituality, and things like that. But I didn't have the habits to get me the life that I want. I didn't have the discipline or the consistency, or just I had poor habits. It wasn't until I got a coach to help me really get my life in check that my life changed dramatically. And I felt so passionate about the change that I felt in myself that I just started to other people and talk to other people all the time that I wanted to start doing the same thing as well. So I do own a video production company. I love telling people's story and everything like that. So I do have a business there, but I started up this online coaching business because I want to live a life that's really fulfilling. You know, you want to take care of your family and everything and live an abundant life, but you also want to make money in a way that's meaningful to you. So that's why I'm just so passionate about helping other people.
And that is what we're going to be doing today, helping people understand about the journey because we all have a unique journey. Whether it's we learn that we have bad habits in college and high school, and we say we need to make some changes because what happens to men is different than what happens to women in the whole coaching world and the mindset. Men typically around the age 25, that's when they're going to begin to start to really look at their life. They're going to say, what have I been doing? Have I been seeing much success in my life? And if not, what is the reason? Sometimes we are the reason. And more often than not, we are the reason. We do have to take ownership of that. And it's difficult for some people to realize without a coach or realize without a trauma that they are messing up or they're not showing up. And as you said, we are destined to become the person that we are supposed to be. Yet many people won't reach that. And it's because they just don't know how to do it, or they don't have the motivation or the activation sequence to get them there. And typically the activation sequence for men is trauma. Something happens in their life, they realize they get a wake up call and they say, I'm going to change. And that happened to you. And you also said, I got out of that. I got a coach. I found how important it was for someone to have a coach and to look into someone's life to say, hey, this is a blind spot. This is an area that you need to work on. And now you want to help people too, because that is going to be the one of the most rewarding things a person can do, the acts of service. I wanted to get into a conversation today, and I'm going to be breaking it up into three sections, just so you know. We're going to be talking about mindset, training, and nutrition. We're going to just break it up, starting with mindset. Tell me about your mindset before you were 26 And then what was that spark that allowed you to change your mindset?
And there's a lot of different ways I could go with that. I would say one thing when I was younger, I used to think that becoming successful meant that you don't have any problems. And one of the big things that I had to realize was no matter what path we take in this life, there's going to be problems. Life is going to hand us circumstances. There's going to be challenges every single day or whenever they come. And in a nutshell, I just wasn't mentally strong enough to go through those challenges and to overcome them. I wouldn't take responsibility and accountability for my circumstances and my situation. A lot of times I would either blame others, I would blame the situation. Why is this happening to me? Basically, I would play the victim. And then also, whenever I was stressed, I would run to the bar, I would run to hanging out with friends to escape reality. And at the time, I didn't even understand how much I was doing that, escaping my own reality and not facing the problem at hand. I would say overall, that was my mindset that was really flawed. And yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things, just lack of discipline, lack of consistency, and just didn't have that true mental strength and those solid habits that are needed to live a fulfilling life.
Yeah, it's going to be an escape that we have to get rid of, that we have to learn to not run to when we're feeling down and when we're feeling out, whether that be drugs, alcohol, pornography, whatever it be. We all have a crutch we have to get over because we just fall into that habit, that system, whether it be because of our peers, the environment that we're in, and we get to make a choice. Does this help me in my life? And sometimes it will help you to a certain extent. It might make you feel good. And that right there might give you the confidence to kind of move forward. But in reality, it's going to deteriorate you faster than anything. And you don't understand just how malleable the mind is. So if you give it a substance, if you give it a habit that is not conducive for your success and growth, you're just stunting yourself. So at some point, you have to realize that you didn't grow the past year, that you didn't make progress in your life yet you have all these grandiose dreams, but you're not taking action. And you do have to realize that you are the owner of yourself, you are the creator of your own life. And if you don't want goodness in your life, don't do anything. But if you want something in your life, something good, that's when you have to take action.
Absolutely. No, I feel like we're all called to be our best self or to live up to that potential. And another aspect of why I felt so called to become a coach was that when I was 18 and in high school, my biggest dream at the time, or it sounds kind of silly, but my biggest goal was to play college football. And that was my focus at the time because I knew living in a rural area or living growing up as a poor family, I knew that football was a way for me to go to college and get an education and make something of myself. I'm grateful for the journey that I've been on now, which has led me to more entrepreneurship and things like that. But my point is, I put so much time and effort into football and achieving that goal. When the time came, I quit on that goal and I didn't play college football. And thing is, with something like that, you can't go back in time and fix it. I felt so much regret at such a young age. It ate me up for a long time, just dwelling on the past and everything like that. And that pain of regret really led me to pushing forward. And now I don't want to, that's my biggest fear is having regret when we're older. So my point is, if we feel called to achieve something and we're not putting in the work to get there, you're just not going to be in alignment with that. You're going to feel depressed, feel anxious, or feel that regret.
Regret's going to be one of those things that you don't want when you're on your deathbed. You are going to miss every shot you don't take. And you do have to realize that some things are blessings. So some things that don't happen in your life can be maybe a great thing. When you are having that mindset of you want to be a football star, you want to be a football player to get a scholarship to go through college, there's nothing wrong with that dream. And there's nothing wrong with doing a pivot in that dream. Yes, it might be a lifestyle that you would have never known or never lived, but then you have to see what replaced it. And then you have to ask yourself, well, is what replaced it good? And if it was good, then let it be good. If you decided to get F's in college and to squander your life and to just drink and then eventually you get thrown out of school because of bad grades and maybe bad discipline, then maybe you can look at that as a regret. But if you developed a new skill, you said entrepreneurship, right? Now we're learning something. We did a pivot. Regret is one of the things that will happen if you don't do a pivot. But you do have to understand that in life, there's many different paths. And you can't be upset that if we don't take one path at some age in our life or any age in our life, that the path that we took is the wrong path because we, again, get to choose our path. We might look back in hindsight and say, I wish I did that. But then we learn from our mistakes. And then as a coach, what you do is you help people who are about to go through that same process and you can offer insight.
That's 100% spot on because I was drifting. I was going downhill for a while. I would go to college. I would failed like 4 out of 5 classes, just skipping class, doing everything that was not good, basically. Hanging out with friends too much, hanging out with the wrong people. And it took years, but eventually you kind of start to snap out of it to where I had the desire. I knew I had potential, but for some reason I wasn't taking that action. But sometimes you just need a little kick in the ass, somebody to just get you on the right path, take that first step, and then you take the next one. And then next thing you know, it's like 4 years later, you're like, oh man, I really turned everything around.
Failure creates success. It's not success creates success. We do have to understand that we do have to have the hiccups. We do have to have the learning lessons in life. If it wasn't F, it was hanging around the wrong people. Now you know, because if you don't know about those things, then how can you instill that into other people? If you have children in the future, how can you instill that into them, right? You do want to have the wisdom. You do want to have the knowledge. And it's important for a mindset that you understand all of that is going to be the totality of who you become. Who you become is going to be a lot of your past, but it's going to be a lot about what you do every single day. What are some of the things that you do every single day that you can show up with good, healthy habits?
Absolutely. No, you spot on again, just with like, you have to become the person to get the life that you want. It's not focusing on, oh, how do I get there, this strategy or whatever. But as far as what I do every day, I have a strict wake up time because that starts the day off with a win and just getting that positive momentum going forward compared to hitting that snooze button and waking up whenever. The next thing is going into some form of positive reading. It's not always that I'm trying to necessarily like learn something new. I just feel like I want to read a few pages to get my mind going in the right direction, whether it's personal development book or a quote book, just to kind of get the mind going. And then I do some journaling to where I focus on what I regret from the day prior. And I think it's more important to do that because then you can focus on what you need to change today. There could be just one small thing that you need to tweak today and just focus on that. Like your life may be very chaotic right now, but if you can look within and just what do you feel regret from the day prior? Could be messing up on your macros. It could be the way that you spoke to somebody, the way that you reacted to a situation at work. And it's like, okay, I'm going to focus on controlling my emotions and how I speak to people today. I think that's a lot more productive as far as journaling compared to like, oh, I'm grateful for my mom and I'm grateful for my house and I mean, those things are nice. You're supposed to be grateful for that, but you need to focus on change and what you need to improve. And then, so after that, I go to the gym, get into a workout, obviously, to where you just get your mind in that right state of mind. At first, it's all about how you want to look and, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds or I want to lose 20 pounds. But now at this point, you'll get to a certain stage in your life to where you go to the gym for the way that it makes you feel. I naturally wake up very negative towards myself. I'm not necessarily angry towards other people. I'm very down on myself, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, I did that, to where you just very much like self pity and detrimental to your own self, to where I need to do this strict morning routine and this intense workout to then build my self confidence up to where I'm almost a lot more like savage and aggressive in a good way. I mean, however you want to take that, it's just I need to do some very strict things in order to get my mind going positive and confidently. Or other than that, I'm just kind of lethargic and slow and blah.
I'm going to help you out because it's important that we adjust things. I know you're young, you're a little bit younger than me. We do have to adjust some of the terminologies we tell ourselves every single day. I had a mentor when I think I was like 30 when him and I started working together. And he was just telling me just little tips and tricks. And I probably had the same diction as you, right? I would say, I regret this, I'm a victim, things like that. And he just subtly just told me to say this instead. So one of the things, I have a rosary in my car, I'm Catholic. I would usually say sorry if I like shook the car too much and the rosary started shaking everywhere. So I would grab the rosary and say sorry. He said, instead of doing that, say, grab the rosary and say thank you. And I said, oh, that's an interesting switch. You said a couple of things, right? Regret is one of the things you said. So you wake up, you have regret. And the only adjustment you have to make there is just say, what improvements can I make? What mistakes did I make yesterday that I can improve today? And you're going to slowly see, probably in the next 2 to 3 months, that you are more positive. You're going to be less lethargic and you're going to be more optimistic for today just from that one change. Because regret is such a negative word and it will just bring you down. Even though you have good habits, you have a good mindset, one simple word can change your whole entire path, your being. And it's crazy. Victim, same thing. You didn't say this word, but people will say, I'm a victim. But you can be a survivor. You can be a victor. You can change the words that are very negative. My word wasn't negative, right? Sorry. But it was just an understanding for me that we can use better terminology in our day because a lot of people, they do have a hard time getting up. A lot of people do have an issue with the snooze button. They will hit that snooze button. As soon as they wake up in the morning, they go, boom, snooze. And they don't want to train. They don't care about their nutrition, meal prep, all that because they just don't have the discipline yet. So we have to build the discipline. And self-talk, how you talk to yourself is so important because if you can't talk to yourself in a positive manner, and I'm not saying be all like, oh, today's going to be a wonderful day and we're all going to have rainbows and we're all going to be successful. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being realistic, being hungry for what you want and knowing how to get it. We know how to do it most of the time. It's just that we're not willing to put in the work. And I have a saying. I say some people want it and some people kind of want it. And a lot of people just kind of want it. So you do have to separate yourself. Are you one of those people who kind of want it? Or are you one of those people who want it? And especially as a young man, fitness and nutrition is going to be so important for your confidence. As you said, when you go work out, you get more confident, you become more confident. And that is what you need because when you have the confidence, when you have the drive, when you have the healthy habits, you are going to be showing up more in your day rather than finding yourself on the other end, drained and unfulfilled.
100%, man. Yeah, our words are powerful. The way that we speak about things can start to come into fruition. So I definitely like that as far as changing your terminology. And I agree, like your self-talk during these times of adversity or when somebody struggles with waking up or maybe they don't like working out, the self-talk during those times is everything. Because some people during a workout, it's common to just complain and be like, oh, I'm tired. I don't like this. But if you just get way more aggressive with your self-talk that's constructive to the goal that you want, it's going to be so much more beneficial to people when you know, I want it. I don't just kind of want this. Like, this is me. This is what I want. And I had to get a lot more aggressive with my self-talk because naturally I'm very chill and laid back. And I was tired of being chill. I was tired of being the guy who's just didn't get what he want. He has a want, but you're not working towards what you desire. So I agree 100%, man.
One of the things I did when I was 28, I believe at the time, when I did this, the idea and the concept of neuroplasticity, basically, it's just the idea of changing the way your brain thinks and operates in the paths of light and darkness or whatever you want to call it. What you can do is you can instill your day with a lot of positive things, motivational things, but there has to be something that resonates with you. I have a playlist on Spotify. Anyone can check it out. It's called Wake Me Up. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, when I was going through my whole process of awakening, reinventing myself, 4 o'clock, my Alexa alarm clock would wake me up to this playlist because you can set the alarm instead of it having a ringer to playlist from Apple, Spotify, etc. It would play this playlist and it would have all motivational speeches that I selected, hand selected. So you would have to create a playlist on Spotify, Apple. It doesn't matter where you go. You could do Amazon too, and you can create a playlist that you curate. That means you handpick each speech that you want to hear, and you put it on shuffle. You make that your alarm clock, and you might not want to hear it in the morning, but I encourage you just to let it play. It's not an alarm where you want to turn it off. It's not the snooze button. It's just allow it to play. And during the morning time, it happens right before you are going to sleep, and it happens right when you're waking up. You're in a very hypnotic state. So, right there, you begin to change your way of thinking. And if you do that for about 3 to 6 months, you're going to change your whole entire mindset. And you're going to see that your training is going to elevate to a level you probably never thought was possible. And you're going to start to become more serious about your nutrition. And it all began with just a motivational speech, someone saying something that resonated with you. That's why I always tell people you can use my playlist, Wake Me Up on Spotify, but it's more important that you handpicked what you want to hear in the morning. You listen to a bunch of speeches, you go, oh, I like this one. Save it to a playlist. It doesn't have to be called Wake Me Up. It could be Time to Conquer. It could be whatever you want it to be, whatever the name you want it to be. But you curate that list and you're going to see everything starts to change from there.
Definitely, yeah. If you just wake up and scroll every morning, whatever you happen to consume on social media or whatever you're reading, it definitely can dictate the rest of your day. Not that there are, I mean, to be transparent, there are times where I start to drift on the phone too much. And to where you start to negotiate and debate if you want to go to the gym or not. And you eventually you fight it. But the difference of having something like you just mentioned can be a big game changer. I can see that for sure.
Yeah. And gym should be a non-negotiable, especially for men. You should just wake up, go to the gym. If you want to be on your phone checking your messages or emails at the gym, I don't care. But understand after 30, 45 seconds, get back on it because you could take a little break and stay focused and continue on that path to health and fitness. But don't do it in bed because that bed is going to trick you. It's going to keep you there, especially if it's raining and dark outside and cold and you don't want to get up. It's going to be harder to get up if you don't do it the first 5 seconds. So you can wake up and just boom, just get up. And if you want to listen to the speeches a little bit and let that kind of resonate for about 10 to 15 minutes, you can. But then as soon as 10 minutes go by, or just give yourself a mental cue, as soon as the speech is over, or as soon as two speeches are over, or tracks are over, say, I'm going to count to five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or count down from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and get up. Don't allow those 5 seconds to keep you captive. Okay. So within those 5 seconds, take action. You have to take immediate action. And now that we looked at mindset a little bit, I want to just kind of get a broad spectrum of training and nutrition, right? Which one is more important? I think sometimes people will get this misconstrued. They would say training is more important than nutrition, or nutrition is training more is better than fitness and training. What is your take on that?
Well, yeah, you basically just said it to where they're yin and yang. It's like 50-50 to where you need to be training and building yourself up because I do congratulate people who have lost weight. Like sometimes you see people who are really big and let's say they cut their calories or whatever, but you can tell that they like just went on the elliptical or the treadmill and lost a bunch of weight, but they still like don't look good. And it's better that they're less fat, but it's like, I like to where people get jacked. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're pretty fat, but then they built muscle and like look good too. So I think resistance training and lifting weights is everything. I do support other ways of training, whatever gets you moving, that's cool. But I think for sure everybody should be in the gym building their self up, like building muscle with resistance training.
And ladies, don't think that if you're going to go lift some dumbbells, you're going to, become the Hulk or anything. It doesn't happen that way. All right. Fitness is more than just cardio, elliptical, stairmaster, all of those things, right? The things that people disdain. And I think this stops a lot of people from going to the gym because they don't want to go on the treadmill. They don't want to run. They don't want to get their heart racing, and they don't want to feel like they're about to pass out or throw up. Yet, the more you do it, the more your body acclimates to that workout, to your regiment, because we do have to understand that we grow as people. You're not going to stay exactly where you are for the rest of your life. As you go, you get stronger. And I always say, when you go to the gym, pain is weakness leaving the body. But we do have to understand what's good pain and what's bad pain. If you're feeling a sharp pain in your shoulder after lifting 215 or something like that, maybe bring it back down, right? Figure out what's going on and build up from there, because our body does have to adjust for what we do, because essentially weightlifting is tearing the muscle fibers and your muscles are building themselves back. So you have to understand proper rest and nutrition, because nutrition is going to give your body the fuel, the resources it needs to repair. So training is a big aspect, but you do have to make sure you're giving your body the repair resources it needs. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself always tired, always hurting and sore, and then, of course, drinking a lot of water too. So we do have to change up a lot of our systems. A lot of people are drinking sodas, they're eating cakes and have their ice creams or their sugary coffees. Once in a while, you want to indulge, go for it. But you do have to really adjust your lifestyle. And sometimes it could be a whole dynamic shift, especially when it comes to training and nutrition.
1000%, man, for sure. I think there's a lot of misconception that the people who want to lose weight, they feel like they have to do cardio, but I hardly, so in 6 months, I lost 32 pounds. That was like if you go on my Instagram, that's like my transformation picture. And I barely did any cardio. I mean, I did some, it's good for cardiovascular health and everything like that, and the benefits of cardio. But if you just lift weights and you eat a certain way, like you can burn that fat and build muscle, and you're going to feel a lot more confident because when you look in the mirror, you like the way that you look. Yeah, but no, you're spot on.
Yeah, it's a total package. Mindset, training, nutrition, everything we do have to encompass when it comes to our personal development. And it's important that you have a coach on your side that's going to help you along that way. Yes, you can do it by yourself, but you're going to have so much trial and error. You're going to find yourself in a roadblock almost every single morning, because you're like, wait, I got to do this again. I got to show up again. It's like you're going to war by yourself. I would rather have an army with you. And I'm not talking about like an army of 5,000. You only need about 2, maybe 3 people to be like an effective army, like just like to go kill it. If you have a friend that you can go work out with, you're going to find that you push yourself even more. If you have a coach that's going to hold you accountable, you're going to find that you're going to push yourself more. People help people grow. Find the people in your life, including Ben, who are going to help you get into a better mindset. Training, nutrition, it is important for you today and tomorrow. I want to thank you so much, Ben, for spending a little bit of time with us today and then sharing your wisdom about your journey thus far. But before we go, I would love to have some last words, and then please tell the audience where they can find you.
Absolutely. So you're just talking about having a workout partner, having a coach to help and go to war with you. I just heard about this study that happened back in the Industrial Revolution, to where it was called the Hawthorne effect. They wanted to know why certain factories were more productive than others. And basically all these scientists would show up and be like, hey, don't change anything. We're just going to watch what you do. And productivity would skyrocket. And then when they left, it'd go back down. That's the reality of discipline, is that accountability is huge. If you have something that you're accountable to, you said that you were going to do something, and having somebody there with you to go to war with you is everything. I mean, that just means that's what helped me change, was having that accountability to my coach, and I didn't want him down, and I don't want to let my people down. That's the thing. We have to build ourselves up and create the individual that we admire and give them to the world. That is your purpose. You need to do it for other people. Do it for yourself, build yourself up, but then we're here to serve other people and help other people. So whether it's your wife, your kids, whoever in your life that's meaningful to you, that's what we're doing this for. That's why we get in shape. Now, I appreciate you having me on. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Ben C. Mangum. I post my daily process on my story every day there, so you guys can tune in and just, come join the team.
Perfect. And I'll definitely toss that link in the description box below so people can find you, follow you, and see your journey thus far. And then to also pay attention to your journey that you will be partaking in, because it's so important that we not only look at where someone is, but where they came from, because success is not so much an end goal, it's a journey, and it's always going to be a journey. It's not an end goal to happiness. It's not an end goal to who we can become. Yes, our deathbed is going to be that, but today we are alive and we have a choice to make. Do we want to show up or do we want to give up? And I encourage everyone to reach out to Ben. Again, he's going to be helping you show up. Thanks so much, Ben, for coming on, spending a little bit of time with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.